please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, August 27th, 2018. The roll will show that we took roll call vote earlier this evening, and the roll will show that all council members are present. Number 1 is agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A is the clerk's report, 6B, treasurer's report, 7, public comment, 8, unfinished business, 9 is new business, 10, communication, 11 is warrant 18-16, and 12 is adjournment.
So moved to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, to approve the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, agenda approved.
2A is approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held August 13th, 2018.
So move for August 13th, 2018.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for approval of the minutes from our regular council meeting held August the 13th, 2018. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Abstain.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
3 is petitioner, and there are no petitioners this evening, so that will take us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk Barb. Tonight we had a open study session at 6:30 to discuss our city quarterly investment report from our treasurer, Stacy Page, which did an outstanding job for the city. At 6:45, we had an open study session for a Midwest Recycling company that considered Romulus, which has some good ideas for the city of Romulus. There's a lot of good things that happened in Romulus over the weekend. Different people will speak on that in the future. We had I went to a football game for our Eagles, and the guys, it's just really thrilling to see young people participating in athletics and coming together as a unity for our community. And there also was a presentation at the cemetery, which would be expanded on earlier, which a person did an outstanding job of presenting this program. I'm just so happy to be a part of Romulus in this community. We have a great community here in Romulus. We are a growing community that's moving forward, and this is what we have to keep doing. At this time, I'm going to recognize Councilman Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. You're talking about good things in our town and big things and little things. Well, this is just a little thing that I happened to see over the weekend on Facebook, and I actually tried to respond to it, but I couldn't do it because nobody was there to walk me through it. But Kristen Chavez family that lives on Castle Drive, their 7-year-old son had a lemonade sale this weekend for the Romulus Animal Shelter. And I don't even know his name, but I want to thank him for doing that. There was a picture. Him and his dad had a lemonade stand right there on Castle Drive, and they were going to donate the money to the shelter. And I appreciate things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. Next, I'm going to recognize Councilwoman Talley.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Just want to make a motion to recognize Norma and Willie Cofield of the city of Romulus, longtime residents, for 50 years of wedding anniversary on August 24th, 2018.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Webb. A motion for the Cofield family. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair.
That concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, and audience. Quote I brought tonight goes as this: you don't get any medal for trying something, you get one for results. And I picked that one because we had an awesome event, as the chairman said, on the 23rd, a recognition of a Medal of Honor recipient that was here in our cemetery. What I'd like to do, Mr. Chairman, if I could, is have Jan Lemon come up and just give us a brief update on the event. It was very positive. I know a ton of people were sharing it around Facebook, talking about it all weekend. So, Jan, first, thanks for all that you did to get this going. You're going to talk and thank all the people that were involved. And I know it was a team effort, but you know what? From the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. You love this community. When you get a hold of something, you don't let it go, and you do a good job with it. And you made us all proud with that program. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start. We've had 3 great programs in the cemetery. First, we planted 20 trees. Then we put up a historical Romulus Memorial Cemetery gate. And now we have done this Medal of Honor recipient. We always say thank you to this one, that one, the other one, and we always forget somebody, and I may forget somebody tonight, but when I loop you into 200 people who ate spaghetti, thank you very much. Mayor Burkroff, you have always supported me in everything I drag across your desk. I do what I do because I was born, raised here, and I love my city. The Romulus VFW, I could not ask anything more. They give me everything they've got. They are just great. It is important to me to look back at the whole background of what has been done and maybe not proper thank yous given. Tim Keyes and Mary Oakley, they're both my sounding board. If I want to straighten something out, I go to them and they give me their advice, and I appreciate it. Steve Sims, he cooked all that spaghetti with Wayne Jednak, Maria Drurier, Linda Choate, Kathy Abdo, Judy Fredericks. They were all at the spaghetti dinner setting up, making it work. Judy Fredericks and Larry Williams in January were the first to give me money, and it was not a small amount of money. Debbie Allen from the VFW helped. Mary Collins, Debbie and Ray James, Keith Johnson from Johnson's Lithograph, Mark and Candy Lukowitz, Dan and Dave Bales. John Theed bought 30 tickets for the firemen. Doug from Romulus Auto, baskets were donated. All who gave and ate this spaghetti dinner, this never would have happened without that money. At the ceremony, I thought the honor guard was excellent. They carried the flag, they just were right in tune, and I just thought they'd done a wonderful job. This program was put together by Maria Lambert. Very patriotic, very patriotic. Thank you, Maria. Roger Cadu. We took a trip, Linda Choate, Roger and myself, and went to Frankenmuth. This is how we acquired what we have. Roger took these pictures right out of the display cases of all these gentlemen. These are living Medal of Honor recipients. Thank you, Roger, it was great. Maria Dreer, for the last minute changes, couldn't have done them without her. I mean, she sat with Kevin and I, and she just fixed everything that we needed fixed. Kevin Kraus was the master of ceremony. Thank you, Kevin. Wonderful, wonderful job. Bob McCrate. If you wasn't there to help me coordinate, get organized, get whatever I said, hey, we need, it wouldn't have been done. It all went beautiful. DPW workers, Tracy Eddington and Travis Early. They hauled all the chairs to the cemetery, the table I needed. Mike Lakaska, he did the sound system. Roger, you were in on that also. Thank you all so much. Now I have a special thank you to Bob McCrate, Brian Norman, at 9 a.m. Thursday morning, few hours before the ceremony. In 20 minutes' time, they had a crew out there that just spruced up that cemetery. There wasn't a blade of grass on any headstone. It was just wonderful. Thank you, Bob and Brian. Now I'm asking the mayor and the council to give special recognition to the following DPW workers. These were the people, the 4 men who made the cemetery, made me proud to say, I'm in Romulus, this is our cemetery. Drew Leininger, Dave McCowan, Rich Taylor, Jalen Thomas, and Chris Sylvie. I would not be standing here tonight without all the help I just mentioned. Remember, one person can never do it by themselves. I have to remember the special thanks to the Crane Funeral Home and to Inch Monument. They got the monument for us, and the family was just very pleased with it. For those of you who missed the ceremony, it was a tribute to a veteran wounded 118 years ago. Colonel Charles Kowetzka was buried in our cemetery in 1951. Not only did we honor Charles, we also honored 3 living in Michigan Medal of Honor recipients. And there were 2 that were Michigan, but they just have moved out. These 5 pictures placed here tonight are to recognize them for what they have done in the past for our country. Roger, Linda, and I, that trip was something I will never forget. Those men who run that museum, they can just tell you, they can answer any question, they can do just whatever you want. I'd like to talk about these pictures just a minute. Charles Kittles lives in Ypsilanti. Robert Simonak lives in Farmington Hills. His wife called me the day before the ceremony to say she was terribly sorry that Robert could not come due to age and due to the fact that he was not feeling well. But these gentlemen all know each other, and Robert said to give his congratulations to the Charles Kowetzka family. He finally got his recognition. This gentleman here just got his in 2017. He lives in South Haven. This gentleman was in Michigan. He moved to Colorado, and this one moved to Florida. I am grateful for everything they have done for me, for my country, for all of us. Now I think the mayor would like to say something. Thank you.
You know, again, I can't thank all those people enough. And just remember, the whole purpose of this was to honor Charles Kowetska and his family, and it was done very well. I can tell you that Chuck Kettles, the one on the upper left, who was planning to be there, and I was surprised that he wasn't. I talked to his daughter the next day, and he's unfortunately got cancer pretty bad, so he'd had a couple different treatments. So keep his family in your prayers. He's done a lot for our country. Amazing stories, all of them, Jan. And I would ask, maybe we could have those names in a future come to the council for those DPW workers, if that would be okay, Mr. Chairman. Sure. And we'll have them all signed and make sure we get everything correct on those. But I think very much deserving, just a great program all the way around. So, you know, people want to take shots at Romulus and what we do, what you did with your board and what the VFW and all those that came. And the smiles on the faces when they brought the flag, Jan, over to present to the family, to me, where I could see, I know somebody like this, that told the story. So that was typically just perfect honoring of a well-deserved family and person. So thank you again. Oh, the flag was flown over the Capitol. That was Senator Stabenow, correct, who had that done in Washington. So that meant a lot to them. They'll do that on request of a House representative or a senator. So very, very well done. And that's something they'll have forever. So if you didn't see it, we'll try to get it out on YouTube. Channel 7 did a nice piece. People that missed it that want to honor the recipient, that's a great way to do it. Thank you. Couple other things. I want to give a thank you to Julie Waitoko, awesome chief of staff, for filling in for me last week. Appreciate that. She paid me back with giving me a long list tonight, so we appreciate that. We also have a lot of other activities, so real quick, Roger, you could run the video, and then I'll get into the action items.
Good evening. Here are some events coming up. The Farmers Market is operating every Wednesday and will run through September the 26th. It is located near the pavilion at the Historical Park, downtown Romulus. There'll be a bonus market on Saturday, September the 11th from 11 till 4. Senior Center Beauty Pageant and Luncheon will be held on Wednesday starting at 11 a.m. Also on Wednesday, there will be a town hall meeting at Hale Creek School to discuss police, fire, and safety millage. Additional meeting will be September the 19th at Barth School. The Romulus Police are looking for more people for the upcoming Citizens Academy class, which is scheduled to start Tuesday, September the 11th of 2018. There will be a Gleaners free food distribution at the high school Wednesday the 12th beginning at 1 p.m. 21st Annual Pumpkin Festival will kick off on Friday the 21st of September with the Romulus Rotary's Parade of Lights. The parade will start at 8 p.m. on Goddard Road and go through downtown Romulus, ending at the Progressive Hall. The festival will run throughout the weekend with lots of entertainment, food, and crafts. To find out more about all of our community events, go to the locations noted on your screen. Thank you.
Dennis, thanks, Roger. Now on to our report, which we have a lot tonight, so I'll jump into it. Item A is a recommendation from Tanya Cofield, Recreation Coordinator, and it's to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached grant recipient agreement with Play Everywhere Challenge, provided by the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and organized by Yes Kaboom, Inc. The grant awarded in the amount of $66,000 will upgrade the Boise Parkway with interactive play equipment and update the walking path. And that's something that Tanya and Jazz and our team worked very hard on, and looking forward to getting that walkway cleaned up.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Tyler.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached grant recipient agreement with Play Everywhere Challenge provided by the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and organized by Kaboom, Inc. The grant awarded in the amount of $66,000 will upgrade the Boise Parkway with interactive play equipment and update the walking path.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, and this is for that Play Everywhere Challenge Grant Recipient Agreement. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
I would like to ask Jasmine or either Tanya, how much in total, including this grant and also the money from the Community Block Grant, how much in total will be spent on the walking path?
You want some, Jazz? Love to talk about this one.
evening, everybody. Jasmine Dancy, Director of Community Services. So the $66,000 is what we were awarded with this Kaboom grant, and then we don't have any community development block grant funds. But later on your agenda, item B, I believe, is Wayne County Park Improvement Grant funds, and that's in the amount of $25,000 to the Boise Parkway, and then $25,000 to the Tot Lot Park.
So there's no way when you were writing the request for this grant that more money couldn't have been added to the top park?
That was not in this proposal.
What I'm saying is, it was no way that you could have added that in there, because this is an issue when the top park was dismantled earlier in the summer, that you were gonna look for money to, replace things in the parkway. So you're talking about spending over $80,000 just in the walkway. I would truly hope that the city spending this kind of money would make sure whoever goes and cut that grass, because when they cut the grass during the parkway, you call it Boise Parkway, we in the North End call it the Blacktop, that they would make sure when they cut that grass that they don't leave the grass laying over the blacktop as in the past.
Actually, yeah, that's a great point. And part of the grant funds, we did include a line item for continued maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Abdo?
Yes, I also want to thank Sandy Tenney. Most of you know Sandy as Miss Sandy, bus driver in Romulus for years, who brought this idea, this attention to the Rec Commission. And I know Community Service ran with it and did all the work, but we still want to give Sandy some recognition.
Yeah, thank you to the whole Rec Commission for your support as well.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Jess.
Good, thanks you.
okay. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item up is also a recommendation from Tanya Cofield, Recreation Coordinator. And this is to concur with administration, and authorize a reallocation of Wayne County Park and Recreation grants awarded for fiscal year 15-16 in the amount of $25,314, and fiscal year 17-18, the amount $25,104, and authorize the use of the funds for projects at the Tot Lot on Beverly Road between 4th Street and Carnegie, as well as the Boise Parkway between Chamberlain and Columbus. And these funds will be reallocated from the original project that was awarded and also outlined in the Recreation Coordinator's memorandum that was dated August 20th.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
I'll make that motion to concur with administration and authorize the reallocation of the Wayne County Parks and Recreation Grant awards for fiscal years 15-16 in the amount of $25,314, and fiscal years 17/18 in the amount of $25,104. And authorize the use of the funds for projects at the Tot Lot on Beverly Road between 4th Street and Carnegie, as well as the Boise Parkway between Chamberlain and Columbus Street.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Webb. This is for the Wayne County Improvement Grant Award, redistribution of funds. Any discussion?
Mr.
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I could, and I don't know if I should go to Jasmine and the mayor. Originally, these funds were for down at the rack for the track.
Correct.
Park. And, I mean, they're being used good, and this is one, but are we still looking into expanding that? Because to me, that's a pristine piece of property down there with the track and the grass. I mean, and
These were rediverted from that area, so are we open to future stuff? Sure. We're trying to just put the dollars that we can get from the county to the most impactful areas, and this was a request from
Yes,
council.
as I'm looking at this document, Mayor, it says that there were no sufficient matching funds were not received. What were the matching funds that we were looking for?
Can you answer that, Jazz? Sure, come on up.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so we were approached with about a year ago or so with an organization doing big grants for these outdoor fitness parks. They were, fully paved and enclosed and for outdoor use. And there was only about, I think, 100 offered around the country. But you had to accumulate matching funds of up to $80,000. So we originally were going to put this $50,000 towards that if we were able to find another 30. And since we were unable to do that, now we've reallocated to
And I know
these two separate projects.
And I intend to vote for this, but, unfortunately, word had, leaked out that they were gonna be expanding that down there, and now they're told that it's not. That was really.
Well, I do have a little bit of a note on that, is that the Rotary Club is still very interested in helping clean up back there. They've already installed they've sponsored some benches to go back in that area.
I've
And
seen
so
that,
the club and the foundation do have interest in helping grow that park in the future as well.
Okay, fine. Thank
Ms.
you,
Williams?
Mr. Barton.
Yes, Jasmine, before you sit down, do you know when you'll get started with the top park down off of Beverly Road?
I guess I don't have an exact answer. I actually have a meeting set up tomorrow with Lynn Conway and Gary out of the purchasing department, and that's when we'll be doing all of our scheduling to make sure there's enough time for bids and with the actual weather season. So, but we're hoping as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is a CDBG. This is a recommendation of Tim Key's Economic Development. Big stack of paper, but typical for the proposed sub-recipient agreement that's before you between the city of Romulus and Wayne County for the expenditures of community development block grant funds, term from July 1 of 18 through June 30th of 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we move any agreement for the Wayne County CDBG funds for July of 2018 through June of 2023, and I have a question.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the sub-recipient agreement for the Wayne County CDBG program, which was July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2023. Mr. Wadsworth?
I guess this would go to Mr. Keys if I can. How many more payments to the senior place do we have still left? I know this is our 15th or 16th year into it.
Tim?
Building,
Yeah, the building
we're
itself.
done.
It's paid for.
We're done, I thought.
Yes.
But then this is going into
These are
services.
services.
Senior
Correct.
services, so
Okay.
this is
Not
chore
building.
and all those
Okay,
services.
fine, thank you.
Ms. Williams?
That's okay. I was gonna ask that question.
Okay. Okay, no other question, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is a recommendation from Robert McCrate, Public Safety Director, Lynn Conway, Purchasing Director, and this is a request to concur with administration and approve the increase in a current contracted amount with George W. Ock Company for the project by the additional $292,020 for all the subcontract work, which was $268,750, and testing allowances, reimbursable general conditions, and any contingencies for unforeseen conditions, which add up to an additional $23,270 for the 34th District Court elevator. As you recall, we put it out to bid, didn't get any, had to put it back out, so this is the action for the elevator.
Chair, I'll make that motion for ITB 18/19-01 for the new 34th District Court project, bid package 2A for the elevator rebid
Support.
of $23,270.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Tally, for ITB 18/19-01, is for the new 34th District Court project, bid PKG 2A elevator rebid. Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Williams?
Yes, is the money coming out of the court, fund, which was the bond that was pulled for the court?
Yeah, all work that's done at the court will be coming out of the court project. They'll make a request after council approves, then the request will go to the treasurer's office to be checks released.
Okay. Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is item E, and it's a recommendation from Tim Keys, Economic Development, and to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached contract modification number 5 for Vining and E-Course Road construction. That's with Dan's Excavating. The amount is minus $4,408.75. As you recall, were 4 other modifications, and typical with a project of that size.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the E-Course Vining Road, contract of modification, number 5.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Tally, for E-Course and Vining Road Construction Contract Modification Number 5. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is a recommendation from Kevin Kraus, Director of Fire Services and Emergency Management, and this is to concur with the administration and authorize the acceptance of a FEMA AFG, or Assistance to Firefighter Grant, for fiscal year 2017 Fire Prevention and Safety Grant, and the cost of the match is $1,166 on our part, and the funds will be available through the contractual services once approved.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the acceptance of the FEMA AFG FY 2017 Fire Prevention and Safety Grant.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for acceptance of the FEMA AFGF fiscal year 2017 Fire Prevention and Safety Grant. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is also a recommendation from Kevin Kraus, Director of Fire Services and Emergency Management, and this one is to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the revised contract with OnSolve for our Code Red Emergency Notification System with an annual flat rate of $7,000 per year, and with council's approval, the contract to renew on an annual basis.
Through the chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and the clerk to enter into the revised contract.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Abdo. This is for the Code Red contract. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is a recommendation from Roberto Scapitici, our DPW Director and Legal Counsel, and this is to concur with administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 2-year contract extension for professional services with Ritter GIS until October 1 of 2020, and you see where the funds are available on the account listed above.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the contract extension with the Ritter GIS.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for the Ritter GIS contract extension. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next is also a recommendation from Roberto Scapitici, DPW Director. This one's to concur with the administration, authorized to purchase and obtain the MXR data collector and belt clip transceivers required to read the city's meters. The amount is $21,505 from Ferguson Waterworks, and recognize Ferguson Waterworks as a sole source vendor for Neptune meter reading equipment, software, meters, until such time that the city is no longer using those Neptune meters, or until Ferguson Waterworks is no longer the sole vendor. And those funds will not exceed the monies budgeted and are out of the water fund meter repair expense account.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'll make that motion to enter into an agreement to purchase the water meter reading equipment.
Support.
it's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Tally. This is for the water meter reading equipment for the sole source vendor. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next is item J, recommendation from Suzanne Marino, Financial Services Director. And this is something that happens every year, but it's a request to concur with administration, authorize and approve for fiscal year 17-18 encumbrances for capital outlay purchases and various city projects. The amount is $6,700,358.90. These are to be rolled over into fiscal year 18-19's budget and paid accordingly.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the fiscal year of 17-18 for the encumbrance, which is a total of $6,700,358.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for the fiscal year 17-18 encumbrance listings. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up is a recommendation from the Library Board, and this is to concur with administration. The Library Board introduce Budget Amendment 18/19-04, and this is to move donations received in the 17-18 fiscal year as assigned to fund balance and to donations budget to supplement the 18-19 purchases.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Abdo?
so moved to move donations received in 17-18 fiscal year to the 18-19 budget.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Webb. This is for the introduction of Budget Amendment 18-19-04, Library Fund. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Another budget amendment. This one is to concur with administration, introduce Budget Amendment 18/19-05 to reallocate the assigned fund balance for funding originally budgeted in the 17-18 but not used into the 18-19 fiscal year for the purpose of recognizing expenses that are relative to parking improvements with the new 34th District Court. Again, moving from one budget to the next, same project in the budget.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-05 for the general fund in regards to the parking improvements with the new 34th District Court.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-05 in the general fund. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. I have another budget amendment. This is to concur with administration and introduce Budget Amendment 18/19-06 to reallocate funding from, again, fiscal year 17-18 budget to fiscal year 18-19 budget. This amendment is to the account for the balance of bond proceeds that were received and anticipated project costs for 34th District Court.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-06 for the Court Building Construction Fund.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Tally, for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-06, and this is for the Court Building Construction Fund. In discussion. Ms. Williams?
After this, $11,822,000, what is the balance? What will be the balance of the court fund?
Actually, we had that in the earlier session. Do you have that number, Madam Treasurer?
16 million some.
In our study session, that was reported out, so we can give that.
It's in there somewhere.
I have it, Stacy, if you don't have
What
it.
page?
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Roscoe.
Here, the balance is $16,575,348.83.
And that will be the balance of the court fund?
Yes,
Because
that's
we're
what's,
moving, it was 17 million altogether, right? So I'm trying to understand this, and so you're moving 11,000 into the court fund?
11 million.
11 million, I'm sorry, 11 million, is that correct?
The 16,575,348 is what's already in there.
It's in there.
Correct.
And then when there's a request for payment, once it's approved through council, then a request comes
And that's what,
Transfer.
so once that's done, what would be the balance? Would it be the 4 million?
Well, once we deduct those totals.
Yes.
The difference is what's left in the.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next is also introduction of budget amendment. This is to concur with administration, introduce budget amendment 18/19-07 to cover the cost of attorney fees for Brownfield Redevelopment Authority District. It was $5,000, and that was a transfer of ownership property.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and introduce budget amendment 18/19-07 to cover the cost of attorney fees for the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority District. And the attorney whom we are paying has worked for the city for a long, long time, and that's Mr. Silvers.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the introduction of budget amendment 18/19-07. This is for the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
yes,
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The last action item is also introduction of budget amendment that we talked about earlier, and this is to concur with administration, introduce budget amendment 18/19-08 to recognize the Play Everywhere Challenge grant revenue and corresponding expenses.
So moved to concur with administration and introduce budget amendment 18/19-08 to recognize the Play Everywhere Challenge grant revenue and the corresponding expenses.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Webb, and that was for the introduction of budget amendment 18/19-08, general fund. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
no,
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you very much, council, for the long report. And the last item is just information, so that'll conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Report this evening, second reading, final adoption of budget amendment 1819-03 and notice of emergency repair for the Romulus Senior Center HAV unit, which was introduced at the council meeting of August 13th, 2018.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for second reading and final adoption of budget amendment 18/19-03 and the notice of emergency repair for the Romulus Senior Center.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo. This is for the second reading, final adoption of budget amendment 18/19-03 and notice of emergency repair. This is for the Romulus Senior Center HVAC unit. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
yes,
Ms. Webb?
Yes, I had discussion, but I vote yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, deputy clerk, and audience. Tonight, I did go through the quarterly report, and it is my responsibility to report that quarterly. And this was quarter ending June 30th of 2018. I was able to provide to council a list of securities, the average age and the average life and final maturity, the yield, the par value and market value, percentage of the portfolio represented by each investment category, and the credit ratings, and all that was provided. We are above benchmark, so we are doing well. And finally, the interest that was earned in this quarter ending June 30th was $68,094.93. As always, if you have any questions, you can always call the treasurer's office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment. And this is the part of the council meeting where individuals who would like to address city council must raise their hand and when recognized by the chair, approach the podium and state their name and address. Remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes, subject to being extended an additional 3 minutes by consent of the chairperson. There shall be no personal attacks, and remarks shall not contain any profanity, racial, ethnic, sexual, or national origin slurs or overtones. This public meeting shall not be used to campaign for elected office and may not be used to support or oppose any candidate or ballot proposals. Anyone not adhering to these rules shall lose their right to address City Council. Response to any questions and/or concerns will be provided under agenda item number 8, unfinished business, only if the information is available. Otherwise, responses that require further investigation will be given at a later date. And we have no written requests this evening.
Any comments from the audience?
Mayor and Council, Gina Wilson Stewart, 10748 West Jefferson River Rouge. I just had a question, and I just didn't understand something. So under, I think it was 2.5B, it was a redistribution of funds. And from the notes I took, it said it was reallocation from year 2015, 2016, and 2017, 2018. And I was just wondering, I know when I do my own budget, you know, once the year is over, it's like done. And we go on to the next year and use money. So I was just wondering, so is actually a budget with money still in it from 15, 16? And if you can just explain how that works, I just didn't understand it.
We'll explain that on unfinished business.
Okay. The other thing I just wanted to do is announce that the Western Wayne County NAACP, we're gearing up for our Freedom Fund dinner again this year. It will be at the Woodlands Golf Course on October 14th, and it's on Sunday from 5 to 7. And our speaker is Judge Mathis for this year, and we're going to be dealing with the criminal justice system. So tickets are only $50 this year. We reduced the price, and we're just looking at have another good year so we can continue with all the good work that we've been doing. So we have, 4 more months before the year is out. So we just want to do more things, but we want to have a great turnout. So you all are invited.
Gina, what's that date again? I'm sorry.
October 14th is a Sunday.
Okay.
It's from 5 to 7.
What was that location again?
Woodlands Golf Course.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you would like to speak on that, Ms. Williams?
Ms. Webb was.
Ms. Webb, you have something to say? Oh, okay. Any other public comments? No other public comments, we'll close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know, Jazz, did you want to speak on that part? I mean, I know we were accumulating funds, so you comfortable responding to council?
Yeah, just in response to Gina, all of the park maintenance or the park improvement grants, that all comes from Wayne County, so that would be in their budget. What was allocated to us, the $25,000 and the $25,000 that we mentioned earlier, because we were working towards a much larger grant and weren't able to achieve the matching funds, then that's when we decided to reallocate. But all of that money is in the Wayne County budget. And we apply for reimbursements once the project is complete.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams?
I was gonna ask, Kevin, why the issue, because I meant to ask it earlier. The money that we, voted on to help, purchase the fire truck, what's going on with that?
It was approved.
I understand it was approved. I'm saying, what's going on with the purchase of the fire truck?
Evening, Council Mayor. To answer your question, under the mayor's report, item C, the subrecipient agreement with Wayne County for CDBG, that is those funds. So we were waiting for all the counties to come together. They all get a copy of the agreement for all the different communities in Wayne County. Has to go in front of all the councils, boards, mayors, all has to be approved, go back to Wayne County, and then HUD has a, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, 45-day review period in which they can make any changes or request any changes. In the meantime, we've been doing our due diligence. The fire truck is out to bid. Has actually closed. The bid opening is tomorrow, and we'll have all our needed items in a row. So as soon as HUD comes back and approves it, then we can award the bid to the whatever bidder we choose.
What I was speaking on earlier this year, we voted to move so much money for emergency fire truck. Am I correct?
You didn't vote to move any money. What you voted to was a change in the CDBG plan to allocate funds for the next 5 years from CDBG money for the purchase of this fire truck.
Okay.
And that's what this agreement was for this evening, was to move forward with that purchase.
Okay, and so still, my concern was, since it was the emergency, do you have any idea, even after this is approved by Wayne County, when the city will have the new fire truck?
45 days, HUD has to review it. Once they review it, then Wayne County will come back and let us know when we can expend the funds. They've distributed emails saying, as a reminder, do not spend these funds until HUD has absolutely approved these monies.
Okay.
So I can't, it's out of our hands. It's Wayne County's process and the federal government's process.
Nine is new business.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I just wanted to bring it to the mayor's attention. I had several phone calls questioning me on a statement that was made. I'm not for sure if the mayor made it or someone in the meeting pertaining to the millage, saying that the city made all the necessary cuts. Is that true?
I'm not sure what meeting you're referring to. I've been in several meetings over the last, I don't know how many weeks,
Well, it's
sharing
pertaining to the
information.
millage. So did the city, what I'm asking you, Mayor, did the city make the necessary cuts before, you're asking the taxpayers to go in their pocket?
We're still looking at cuts. We actually had a meeting today with employees, so I've been very clear that this isn't a solve-all. There's still gonna be additional things that we're gonna have to look at that may be cuts, they may be efficiencies, they may be ways to do business. So this is not a solve-all to take care of all our financial woes. This is something that will help dedicate money to fire and police services. So I anticipate there's probably gonna be ongoing cuts as we continue to move forward as a community. So that's how I would answer it.
One thing I remember seeing where I requested, it was either during the process, before the process, this administration gave raises / bonuses. So how can you consider that a cut? That's not a cut.
Some of them are contractual, so, if they're contractual, we're obligated. I think we've done minimal, if anything, and council knows that because I present a budget to you every year with those listed by department. So I think we've been very frugal, we've done a good job, and it doesn't mean that there aren't gonna be other cuts that are anticipated in the future, but sure, there were things in the last several budgets that impacted wages.
Well, as I looked through the budget, and that's why I didn't agree with the budget, I didn't see what I seen with the increases to the salaries, increase and the bonuses. So if you say it was in the budget, I would definitely like to sit down with you and you point that out.
Sure, it's in the budget. Now, we provided to councilors some individual numbers, but every year we present the budget. It has the wages for all employees listed by department, not by name, but
Right.
by, department.
Number 10 is communication.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Talley?
I'd just like to take a couple of minutes if I could. Okay. We had a very busy weekend in our community. I just wanted to highlight some things that I saw over the weekend, just some positive things going on. This event I didn't attend. It was a Gateway Back to School event over off Eureka, the Gateway. It was put on by our police department, I think. Fire was involved, police and fire. And it was supported by our airport authority. Great event. I saw some wonderful looking pictures and a video, a nice turnout, so I wanted to put that out there, that I saw that. What I was able to attend was a Freedom Christian Worship Center had a back to school rally in the historical park this past weekend, along with St. John's Lodge St. John's Lodge back to school event this past weekend at the APA. So I wanted to throw those couple of things out there that happened over the weekend. And then we had one of our local churches, Community Baptist, had their picnic on 4th Street. Very great event out there. I was able to drive by there. Great turnout, community out there involved. It was a good thing to see, along with the back to school events I went to this past weekend as well. And then the police safety had a safety bike ride this past week, and they had about 15 riders out there. Great event. Started out at the historical park. Wanted to give a shout out for that as well, for what they're doing out there for safety and bike riding. That was great. And then we did a resolution a little while ago for the 50th renewal of the Cofields, Willie and Norma Cofield, longtime residents, who celebrated 50 years of marriage, and I just want to do another quick shout out to them as well. And then we had a great event, Sounds of Downtown, on Friday. Our grand finale was alumni night. We all dressed up in maroon and white, those that did, and then we had an after party, I call it, in the streets on Garter. So just a good fun event as well. So I just want to put those things out there that's going on, and I think positive things, and also keep in mind to go out there and visit our Ecorse Road, our Viney area, looking really good out there, and just keep them good things going, the courts moving along, and just a lot of good things going on in our community. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Talley. I just like to say one thing. Mr. Wadsworth approached me and said that I don't talk about the Lions no more. I have nothing to say right now. That's all I have.
Number 11 is warrant 18-16.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 18-16 for the following amounts. General Fund, $73,582.78. Major Street Fund, $12,342.65. Local Street Fund, $4,848.30. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $11,127.61. Oakwood SAD, $84.03. 9/11 Service Fund, $1,210.16. NARC forfeiture for the state, $36.01. Library Fund, $5,186.12. DDA, $217.75. Tifa District 2, $4,797. Vining Road Extension Ecorse Construction, $546,795.17. Water and Sewer Fund, $692,729.62. Motor Vehicle, $145,016.22. Technology Services, $1,273.39. Retiree Insurance Benefits, $210,003.22. Property and Liability Self-Insurance, $10,000. Revolving Fund, $9,856.75. Current Tax, $11,776.96. Payroll Fund, $239,662.42. Total of all funds, $1,980,546.16.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 18-16 for $1,980,546.16. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant number 18-16 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
Moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.